DSP, it's something that really no one takes advantage of. If you go to Amazon directly, they have like a $50,000 a month for DSP, so it's super important you work with an agency or a tool that has a seat on Amazon's DSP exchange. It's just some different audiences that we run on there, but applying Amazon Marketing Cloud data to DSP is really powerful, especially when it comes to very similar audiences like you have from Meta. So now you can run lookalike audiences on there, which perform really, really well in an upper funnel perspective, but also add to cart, different remarketing audiences, and you can now mix in streaming TV as well.
Well, we're going to talk about another launch, but it wasn't anything to do with Yeezy, and it was nothing to do with anything that's really going to be in the 20s plus millions yet. But if you are an Amazon person that's like, hey, how do you do this? Or if you're about to launch anything in that space, we're going to listen to Brandon talk about how we just launched Brez, which was our non-alcoholic and non-infused on Amazon within the last 30 days, 40 days.
Yeah.
And it went very, very well. So we're going to get kind of nitty gritty on this right now. Everybody welcome Brandon Fishman.
Thanks, guys. Happy to be here to talk about how we launched Brez. Nick and his team did an amazing job launching this on D2C and brought my team in to help launch on Amazon, and super excited to talk about it a little bit. I guess, who am I first? I've been in digital marketing a long time. I started an agency back in 2004, sold that agency. Also started a company called VitaCup. It's a vitamin-infused coffee business, raised a lot of private equity, and built a lot of that business on Amazon. So I really learned the ins and outs of Amazon, teamed up with a group called Quartile, learned how to use AI on Amazon, and then we decided to launch our own Amazon agency from all that we learned through VitaCup, and teamed up with Nick to launch Brez. So a little bit of the background, Brez is crushing it. They were the top beverage on TikTok Shop, crushing it on Meta ads and really growing. It's a great brand, huge LTV, and they were kind of wondering, how do we bring that over to Amazon? And they also were going to launch a new version. It was the new kind of non-hemp version because they couldn't launch the current version they had on Amazon. So how do we grow it, and how do we grow subs quickly, and how do we keep LTV up was really the main challenge. So if you look at what we did here, in the first couple months, they did over $500,000 on an Amazon. For an Amazon launch, I know it's not 19 million like Kanye West, but it's a lot of money on Amazon. Great brand, and the ads worked really, really well. So today I want to kind of talk to you how we did that, and maybe you guys can learn a little bit about the Amazon tactics that we used. So a little bit of a case study here. The first month was just under $250,000, which is the biggest first 30 days of Amazon. Really hard to launch a new brand on Amazon because Amazon caps the amount of inventory you can send in. So it was kind of a half FBA, half FBM launch, but we were able to be pretty successful with it. And this is a little bit on the launch strategy. They have great creative, so that part was pretty easy. Their team was really good, getting us all the creative, getting the listings set up. You also have to make sure you set up brand registry, which is extremely important. And also those first reviews. Everyone kind of knows how difficult it is to get reviews on Amazon these days. So making sure you have a strong plan for that with your network, with Vine, with influencers, getting the right SEO set up, and really getting to be a fast start. For those that know a little bit about the Amazon algorithm, the first 30 days is crucial. And they see kind of your conversion rate, your CTR, your CVR, those first 30 days to really determine organic rank. So that was a big deal to make sure we came out of the gate strong. And Nick and his team had a great plan too of launching email, SMS, everything to kind of go along with the actual Amazon launch. We also launched DSP, and we're going to talk about some of the other tactics too.
Brandon, on the initial launch, like, we were going to do Amazon earlier, but we were going to wait because we wanted email support. And even then, like, I think most of the work done, and this is what you and the team told us, as long as our keyword research was dialed from the start, that's where the SEO would have picked up. Then we were pushing email mainly for the reviews. Like, we were trying to legally incentivize to get our reviews up and get the people to send it.
Yeah.
Right?
We didn't want to. We basically never really want to launch ads until you have a good 30 or 40 reviews on there, because then it'll kind of give bad signals to the conversion rate and click-through rate. So we got the listings up, the bare bone listings up, at least, not even all the creative. Got some reviews first, and then really got going with the ads. That's a little bit look on the first kind of month or so. They spent just under 50 grand, did about a 5.7 ROAS. We don't really look at ROAS at Amazon too much. We look more at tacos, which is total average cost of sale, or spend divided by revenue. It's the healthier way to look at your metrics on Amazon because it takes into account organic, it takes into account repeat rate, subscribers, all that kind of stuff. So really tacos is the main thing we look at. And if you look at CPG on Amazon in general, I will tell you kind of the average brand has a tacos between 15 and 20. You'll see some really established brands that are around a 10. You'll see some high growth brands that are even as much as 30. But as Amazon increases their fees, obviously it's harder and harder to spend more in advertising, but 15 to 20 tacos is kind of that sweet spot. A little bit look on the early LTV, obviously not as high as Shopify, but that will grow over time. But it's getting up there. We also look at repeat rates for every SKU. And really an important thing when you're looking at Amazon is to understand your repeat rate data on every SKU and then look at the COGS and kind of figure out a CAC to LTV ratio of what the brand can afford to be profitable. It's very difficult to be profitable first order on a lot of Amazon products, especially if it's a $30, $40, $50 product. So you really kind of have to look at LTV. One thing we really focus on, at least at my agency, is getting subscriptions up for CPG clients. So subscriptions are really important, and there's a few ways that we get them higher than most other people. One is using SNS coupons. That's kind of a new thing as kind of last year on Amazon where they can get a discount off the first order subscription, and also using DSP audiences. So using Amazon Marketing Cloud data, we look at customers that have bought 2 times or more and haven't subscribed, and we make sure we're hitting them with DSP banners and an SNS coupon, and that combination really helps the subs grow. The other thing we do is brand tailored promos, another feature that really helps click-through rate and conversion rate out of the gate for companies. A couple audiences here for Brez, we're brand card abandoners and new customers, but there's a whole bunch of brand tailored promo audiences that you can run on Amazon as well. And there's a new feature as of a few weeks ago to make sure that coupons do not stack. So for a while they were stacking with each other, and now we can separate it so they can't get the brand tailored promos and the SNS together. A little bit look at the title. One thing that's really important in titles is kind of the first 100 or so characters, because that's what you see on mobile, even though there's 200 characters allowed. So we make sure that it has a high conversion rate and click-through rate for mobile. Look at their creative, which is really, really strong. It's one of the reasons they do so well on D2C. And we leveraged a lot of that for Amazon as well. This is a look at their secondary images.
Well, and this, we didn't have these to start. Like, this is not what we launched with. And then you guys were kind of like, no, this is, for instance, the middle one. So a better beverage, infused with organic, sparkling, and then vegan. Like, those keywords were the main things that kept popping up that we were competing against for Kin, for, who's the other guys? It was like one other core brand.
Recess, I believe.
Thank you. Yeah. Recess and Kin were the two that we were trying to go hard against. And then which we are doing more, and I think more and more Amazon brands are having to do this, we're going very brand heavy on the demo we're trying to sell for, which is the misses we see bottom left. And then we're trying to show a lot more like health and wellness. So we went more, I guess, like bushes, if you will. But you were trying to tell us like this is more important to do this stuff this way because not many people are taking the time to do it.
Yep. And the other thing you should do is manage experiments when it comes to secondary images. So test different ones. You never know what's going to work better on Amazon, and they have a great kind of managed experiments program. Also look at the brand story, which is important, and also A+ content, just to show a few of those here. This is a look at kind of the ad strategy that we rolled out with. I mentioned this before, but super important to look at lifetime value and CAC for every SKU. And then we work with a tool called Quartile, which is really the most advanced AI tool for running advertising on Amazon. And what we do is we establish an account-wide tacos and an ASIN tacos, and we input those goals into the Quartile's AI system, and the system hits it within a percentage point every single month. So it's really advanced the way that it works. It's a whole nother talk. But we're the ones kind of implementing the strategy and the creative, and the AI works to expand the ad campaigns in single keyword unit campaigns. So every campaign has its own single keyword and expands on there. And the goals that we're implementing into the Quartile system is called an ACOS. So you're basically telling the system the max ACOS that it can hit per ASIN. And then it has hourly and daily bidding as well. This is a look at one of their reports for the first few months that spits out from the Quartile system, and you can kind of see the ACOS, and it goes up a little bit as we got a little bit more non-branded after the launch, but that tacos has stayed around 13 or 14 under their goal of 15. So out of the gate, they had a big email and SMS launch with ads to help us, and as we expand, it goes up a little bit, but stays in focus. The only issue Brez has had is keeping all this stuff in stock because they didn't expect to sell as much on Amazon out of the gate.
Yeah.
That's why we have backup FBM listings. So if the FBA sells out, it goes over to FBM. A little bit look at when we're putting goals into that quartile AI system. On the right side there, you can see that IA costs. Typically what we'll do is if a company has a bunch of different ASINs, we'll run the same IA costs for 3 or 4 months and let the AI learn, and then start to make adjustments based on where we see the potential to scale or where we have to kind of zone down. And this is a look at the breakdown of what we're running specifically for them, how much in sponsored brands, how much in sponsored brands video, how much in sponsored display. And the system will test every placement. It'll test top of search, middle search, bottom of search. We also have display that integrates in there as well. We can even run Google to Amazon, having a lot of success running kind of non-branded Google ads to Amazon, getting a higher conversion rate than website in a lot of cases. So this is just a split for this campaign, but many campaigns are different. I have a dog bone broth company that we work with, and 90% of their spend is on video because it's a super competitive space and their video stands out. So we kind of let the AI to help us figure out what's working and then make adjustments on the Amazon ad spend. This is a little kind of display on how that AI works with coffee as an example, because I have a coffee company as well. If you start bidding on an auto term, on a term like coffee, it'll start expanding to broad and phrase match, but every single one of those keeps growing. So it's like an accordion, it keeps growing out and then it kind of narrows in. But every single one that starts off as an auto campaign will end up being an exact match non-brand campaign or exact match brand campaign. And then the hourly and daily bidding works on, eventually you're gonna have thousands of keywords for thousands of campaigns for an account, where a lot of people just manage it manually with 5 or 10 campaigns. We have some clients that have 20,000 campaigns that only AI can manage better than humans, and it works better every time. With the hourly and daily bidding that I was just talking about, it's kind of cool. The AI and Amazon will look at time of day, day of week, and when you're more likely to convert. So as an example, a coffee company converts higher between 6 and 10 in the morning, and we have a sleep supplement company that converts high at night when people are searching because they can't sleep. So the system knows that, and it changes bids throughout the day so you can be more efficient. Had a lot of accounts that I've audited where they have a ton of spend at night when their conversion rate is low and it makes no sense. So just one application of how AI can be used properly. There's that example I was talking about. And then placement adjusted. Something really no one does on Amazon, except for Quartile and a few others, that needs to be done, is that top of search converts way, way higher than obviously middle or product page on search, but it can be very expensive for some industries. And some industries, it just makes sense to keep 100% of your spend at top of search. So the AI does test different positions on search and then let you know kind of how to adjust it accordingly. Little success snapshot on just clients we put on this tool, just how much their ROAS grows, how much their increase in ad sales grows, because AI will beat manual optimization every single time. And then this is just a slide to put up there to show you that about 90% of all of the results on Amazon are now paid. So if you had an idea of launching a brand on Amazon without a paid budget, just forget about it. It's not going to happen.
How fast has that changed?
It's changed considerably in the last 12 to 18 months, but basically since Jassy took over Amazon. And that their profit has gone up as well. But
how many of you guys are on Amazon right now? Yeah, okay. Have you guys all, also show of hands, how much of the profit you're making is dropping month over month? Basically everyone that's raising. Is that kind of just like the name of the game right now?
Yeah, so we'll go off script and talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
It's a big deal because they keep raising their fees, but they don't let you raise your price if you're in retail, right? So price match is a massive problem for everyone. Walmart price matches, they price match Walmart. There was a massive issue with Target this year where anyone that has the products in Target as well, Target runs this thing called Target Circles where they change the price. But they knew that when they used to change the price, it would affect people's Amazon buy boxes. So for the last 4 years, Target would just say 10% off, 20% off, 30% off, and they wouldn't put the actual sale price on their site.
Ooh.
Well, the day before Prime Day, they had a new VP who decided to change that, and they crossed off all the pricing, and thousands of major brands lost the buy box on Amazon. We represent Procter & Gamble for a few divisions. All their Tide and Downies lost their buy box. And you're talking millions of dollars because Target went on sale the day before. So now you got this pricing war between Target, Walmart, and Amazon, and there's a government case against Amazon about it too. But they keep raising their price, yet they don't let you raise their price there to offset their margins, which is the problem. So what are the ways around that, right? A lot of brands that we work with are creating unique SKUs just for Amazon.
Yeah.
Different flavor, different color, different pack size doesn't work anymore because they will match on the per ounce or in a gummy case, a per gummy basis. So you have to have a slightly different formula. Sometimes one of our clients, we launched a pro version where it's a slightly different formula than what they have in Walmart, and we got around the price match. Probably the most important thing impacting the whole Amazon ecosphere is this price matching thing, because if you want to have a brand that goes into retail, you can't go into Walmart and Target and expect to make money on Amazon if you have the same exact product. So it's something you really have to think about.
Thank you. That's wild. Jeez.
And then DSP, it's something that really no one takes advantage of. If you go to Amazon directly, they have like a $50,000 a month minimum for DSP. So it's super important you work with an agency or a tool that has a seat on the Amazon's DSP exchange. It's just some different audiences that we run on there. But applying Amazon Marketing Cloud data to DSP is really powerful, especially when it comes to very similar audiences like you have for Meta. So now you can run lookalike audiences on there, which perform really, really well in an upper funnel perspective, but also add to cart, different remarketing audiences, and you can now mix in streaming TV as well. This is just a little bit more in some of those audiences that we run on DSP.
Keep it there for a second. Would this be like, hey, as you're about to launch, or consider these are the areas that you kind of need to like fill out, or how would we execute one of these?
So there's a few ways to execute this. One, you need to work with someone who has an Amazon DSP seat, which we do. A couple agencies do, not too many. You have to have a creative strategy to roll this out, and you have to have the audiences. So you have to have enough data to create these audiences. I find that some of these audiences that are a must are their add to cart audiences. The ROAS is over 10 every single time for every client we put it on. The audiences, kind of the retention audiences where you're pushing subscriptions to people that have 2 or more purchases is really crucial. And those contextual audiences in the consideration realm, that's basically the same thing as Meta's lookalike, and they work really, really well. Some more stuff on DSP and where it goes. And then kind of listings. This is the process that we follow for all of our Amazon listing strategy. Kind of analyze who the leaders are, establish keywords. We use AI to help write all of our titles now. It's just smarter than us, so why not? And then we constantly test heroes, secondaries, A+ content, and then monitor it daily. This is an example also of little image changes that can make a difference. I mentioned we do some stuff for P&G. This is their image on the left. You can see the image we changed it to on the right. Just little slight things. What we do is we look in the reviews to see what people are looking for. They wanted to know how well it was good at removing stains. So without actually changing the package, just doing some image manipulation, if you can increase the click-through rate even 0.1%, it makes a big deal when it comes to revenue. So we do a lot of image manipulation. And then for a few of our clients, we have one client, Genexa. It's a kids medicine company, and they learned so much from the image manipulation that they're actually changing their actual packaging. So you can use Amazon as kind of a really good testing ground to see what works. And brand stories and A+ content, all that kind of stuff are important. And then just overall strategy, subscriptions, brand tailored promos. You got to leverage deals. It's a way to kind of get other traction on Amazon. Virtual bundles are a thing no one really talks about, but on the product page of Amazon, basically competitors can purchase ads on your page, and you can block them if you have virtual bundles, which is a free space for you. So creating virtual bundles is kind of like a little trick. And then make sure you execute all the Prime days extremely well, and also doing posts. Amazon post and social is getting to be a bigger factor. And logistics, something no one really talks about on Amazon too much, but making sure you have proper inventory planning, getting trucks in time. Right now with Prime Day 2 coming up, it's taking 2 to 3 weeks to get anything checked into Amazon. So if you don't properly plan, you will run out. And selling out on Amazon is a death sentence because you lose your bestseller rankings, you lose your overall organic rankings. Basically never want to sell out. Wish we had more Brez to send in more often.
Yeah, this has been the biggest issue right now. It's like
the planning your inventory strategy, and then also looking at reimbursements. I'll mention something that's super important here. Amazon does not give you money back for stuff that they screw up unless you ask for it. And almost running to a cutoff. October 1st, they're changing it. Right now, you can go backwards of up to 4 years to try to get reimbursements. We just had a client get $400,000 back that never looked at it before. They're changing that policy in about 10 days. So if you have an Amazon account and you haven't done this, I would do it today.
Wow.
That's open up to questions, Nick.
Yeah, let's go right into Q&A. Brandon, thank you much. Well done.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you, Brandon. I have a question regarding the keywords, like ranking, and what are you seeing in terms of the weight of a conversion for a particular keyword from an ad sale versus an organic sale?
So the organic rankings, unlike Google, are exactly tied to how paid performs. So if I search mushroom drink for Brez and I have a paid ad that's up there for mushroom drink and I have a high conversion rate, the Amazon algorithm will see that as effective for organic and push it up.
Like on an equal basis?
That's why for a lot of people were doing, it doesn't really work much anymore, but people were doing this thing called search, find, buy for a while, where they would actually pay people to do a search on a certain keyword and make sure they buy on it. Another reason why it's important to actually have single keyword campaign structure when you're using AI, because you can isolate which campaigns are working better for search.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you. So when did you work with Quartile on the project? Like how long ago was that?
So we actively work with Quartile.
Still do.
They're our ad partner for majority of my clients in my agency, because I think too many agencies try to do too many things well. I know that we're extremely good at kind of the Amazon strategy and listing side and the ad strategy, and we bring them in to run all the ads. I've worked with them for 7 years.
Is it recent where a lot of like more campaigns or the strategy to go about it? Is it more segmented because now we have tools that can kind of do it? Because I know before that amount of campaigns was not normal.
Yeah, it's more of a recent strategy shift, and as Amazon gets more expensive, right, we have to be as efficient as possible and look for every way to win.
Yeah, I believe that. Brandon, oh, I got another one coming up. Excuse me.
Hey, I don't have a lot of experience on setting campaigns on Amazon, but does Amazon try and push you in a certain direction in terms of like what campaign and search terms to use? Because like Google does that to us, but is Amazon trying to push everyone in the same direction and you guys are like, yeah, that's the right way, or are you thinking like, you should probably not follow their advice?
They're very similar to the Meta people in that they have no idea what they're doing. So if you've ever talked to a Meta ad rep, you're like, how'd you get the job there? Why do you work there? I have no idea what you don't even know what Meta means. Amazon's kind of the same way. And they're really, if you get in touch with an Amazon rep, they're really pushing their streaming TV right now. It doesn't really work. Spent a lot of money testing it. They still haven't figured it out. So I would not use their advice.
It's weird how that is. Almost every platform. I've heard actually some good, like, so you can get some good Google reps, but they
only have their job for 3 months and then they leave. So
yeah, then they go start their own Google agency.
Thank you. Question. We have an Amazon brand for jewelry. We do pretty well, almost 10 million a year, but we don't have any presence as in outside of Amazon, like a separate website. Do you recommend us starting like an e-commerce website with the same name? And what will be the benefit of doing that? And how can we boost our Amazon through that?
What is your average cart size?
About $250.
Okay, for you it makes sense. Basically, my answer would be if you're under 80, then no. D2C makes sense if you have a cart over 75 or 80. And what we see right now is kind of the way it works all together is you want to give people a choice, right? If you're spending all that money to drive traffic somewhere, give them a choice. And the best way to give them a choice is using the Buy with Prime button on your website. So if you're driving traffic there, they can either buy on your website or they can use the Buy with Prime button and buy on Amazon. And now that Meta and Amazon have that integration, just like TikTok does as well, the integration, you can do the tracking on those ads as well to see what works. So I would definitely set up the site and then send traffic to there and they can buy from the site or Amazon.
We have a small site. I mean, we do have some sort of presence, but we don't spend any money on it. We get about 7,000 people visiting in a month, all organically. So you're saying that if we establish some sort of presence on the website, we can start utilizing that with the Meta and Prime integration to push them
Correct.
to Amazon.
And the other thing I would do even more than the website is I would do TikTok Shop. It's still really in its infancy. We're seeing a lot of success there. And I mean, the great thing about it is it kind of changed the influencer world. You used to have to pay influencers all these flat fees. Now there's thousands of influencers in TikTok Shop. You just send them the product for free, give them 10 or 20% of the order, and you can get hundreds of videos made. And when we do that, we see a huge crossover to people that actually just buy on Amazon after seeing the video.
Yeah.
So if anyone's not leveraging TikTok Shop, this is like Meta in 2014. Like, you have to be there.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Also on the back of that, you can just do simple retargeting on almost all the platforms if you have that much organic. And then on the email flow side, that's just free money. I think so, yeah. Normally, if you're winning that hard on Amazon, everything else would just start to spill over because we want that. We're trying to get that way on Amazon, which is why we're having to push as hard. So good for you. You started Amazon? That's a good situation to go the other way.
It's good.
One more in the back. Brandon, last question, brother.
Yep.
This may actually be a question for the both of you, but something that I noticed when someone has an e-commerce store on Shopify and then they merge their e-commerce into Amazon, it almost seems like it's a double-edged sword where Shopify revenue decreases when Amazon increases, and it's really hard to understand the incrementality of the performance from the add-on of Amazon. Is that something similar that y'all saw when y'all launched the Brez?
So
Amazon?
Brez is a rocket ship that keeps going up. So your point makes a lot of sense for most examples. They're still growing on D2C. So this, I think, sure, you get a little bit of cannibalization, but it was still people that maybe saw it and weren't. You have over half the people that see a Meta ad is now over 50% that will go searching on Amazon. So people were seeing their brand. They already had a lot of brand searches on Amazon and they weren't there. So other people were winning that. So now we're just converting those people. Smaller brands, you do have some cannibalization, but you have to give the customer what they want, right? They want to buy on Amazon. That's why everyone has 4 Amazon packages a week at their house. Like, you just have to be there.
Yeah, I'll cover that. This is a product that we couldn't. It wasn't our core SKU, but it's a SKU that we know we had to launch just to be on the other places that people are buying at. And like you said, it was actually more like a defensive play. It was almost more of like people are trying to bid on our terms. Brandon's like, dude, you're just losing all this revenue. So it was more of, yes, we know we can win. Yes, people are looking for us, but I needed to stop other people. Brandon, Thank you, brother.
Yep.
Well done, guys. We are going to transition into another of our first, of our first live podcast with the operators jumping on stage. We're going to transition. Give me 2 minutes. We're back on stage. Here we go.